Then something else caught my attention. The vendors, their faces almost too perfect, didn't have any shadows. No shadow at all. Not even when the lights hit them directly. I stepped back, trying to shake off the strange feeling creeping up my spine. My stomach twisted, and I realized I had no idea how I had gotten there. I looked around for an exit but saw nothing but rows of stalls stretching out into the distance. I turned to leave, but the road was no longer the same. The way I came in, the street seemed to have closed behind me. I walked for what felt like hours, but no matter which direction I turned, I ended up back in front of the same smiling vendors. The music played on, and the air smelled like something foreign, like a mixture of sweet flowers and something rotten. I tried to run, but the same things happened. The vendors, those perfect people, kept calling out to me, offering me things I didn't want. I stopped, panting, my head dizzy. And that's when one of them, an old man with a twisted smile, spoke. "You're trying to leave, aren't you?" he asked, his voice raspy. I nodded. "I need to go home. I don't belong here. Where am I?" He just laughed, his teeth too sharp. "Oh, you belong here all right. But to leave, you'll have to trade." I frowned, thinking he was joking. Trade? I don't have anything to trade. The old man's eyes gleamed, and his smile widened. "You do, boy. You have more than enough." I tried to bargain. "I have money. I have jewelry. I'll trade whatever you want. Just let me go." The vendor shook his head, still smiling. "Money? Jewelry? Those mean nothing here. You will trade something that matters." "Like what?" I asked, panic rising in my throat. The old man leaned in close, his breath smelling like old wood. "Your memories. Your future." Or, he paused, letting the words hang in the air like a thick fog. "Your soul." My heart pounded in my chest. I could feel sweat running down my back. "No. No, I'll give you anything else. Anything but that." But the vendor just laughed again, a sound that made my skin crawl. I turned and tried to run again, but my legs felt heavy, as if the ground was pulling me back. Every path led me right back to the same market. The vendors were waiting for me, their smiles even wider now. I begged. I offered everything I could think of. But the more I tried to deceive them, the more the price went up. They said if I wanted to leave, I had to make the hardest decision of all. And then I realized what I had to do. I didn't want to make the trade. But the more I resisted, the stronger the pull became. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think clearly. The vendors were everywhere, their eyes fixed on me, waiting for my decision. It was as if the entire market, all the stalls, the music, the cheerful faces, they were closing in on me, drawing me into something I couldn't escape. My heart raced, my palms were sweaty, and I had no idea how much time had passed. Was it minutes? Hours? It felt like eternity. The old man's eyes were still locked on mine. "You'll have to choose, boy. Time is slipping away." I swallowed hard, trying to hold on to my sanity. What could I possibly give them that would let me leave? I had no future in this place. My past felt as if it was already fading, slipping through my fingers. The more I looked at the vendor's perfect smile, the more desperate I became. "Take my memories," I said, my voice trembling. "Take them all, everything. Just let me go." The vendor's smile twisted into something darker, something victorious. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice low and full of amusement. "Once they're gone, you'll never remember your life. Not your family. Not your past. Nothing. You will be a blank slate." I shuddered at the thought of losing everything I had ever known. But I was more afraid of staying here, trapped forever. So, I nodded, my mind already starting to spin. "Yes. Take them. I just want to go." The old man's laugh echoed in the air, and for a moment, I felt an eerie calm. I closed my eyes, waiting for something to happen, anything that would signal the end of this nightmare. But when I opened them again, everything had changed. I was no longer in the market. The bright lights, the strange vendors, the rows of goods all gone. I stood in the middle of a quiet, empty road. The air was cool now, the smell of the market replaced by the scent of fresh grass. I looked around, trying to make sense of what had just happened. I was miles from the market, I could tell that much. But there was something missing. Something important. My head felt strangely empty, as if something was missing inside it. The faces of my family, my friends, they were blurry. Their names were slipping away, and I had to struggle to hold on to the memory of their voices. Panic rose within me. My heart beat faster as I tried to remember. What had I lost? What was missing? I couldn't remember. I couldn't even remember the last time I'd felt truly at peace. Had I given up too much? The market was gone, but the price wasn't just what I'd traded. It was the empty space inside me, the void where my memories had once been. I ran home, or what I thought was home, but everything felt wrong. The faces of the people I passed seemed unfamiliar. I tried to ask them where I was, but they only looked at me strangely, as if I wasn't supposed to be asking. When I got back to my apartment, I sat down and stared at the walls, my hands shaking. Something was wrong. Something was terribly wrong. I had nothing to hold on to, no memories, no anchor to remind me of who I was. I couldn't even remember why I was afraid. I tried to warn people, to tell them what had happened. But whenever I opened my mouth, the words felt foreign, like they belonged to someone else. The market is real. It's still out there, waiting for its next victim. But when I spoke, no one seemed to believe me. They looked at me with confusion, as if they could see the blankness in my eyes, the emptiness in my soul. Days passed. Weeks. Time felt strange. My life became a blur, and I could never shake the feeling that the market was still out there, hidden somewhere in the world, waiting for its next target. I could still hear the music sometimes, faintly in the distance, like a soft lullaby calling me back. I thought I could forget. But something always pulled me back to it. The darkness, the perfect vendors, their strange smiles, their eyes. The market was always watching. And sometimes, late at night, I wake up in a cold sweat, the sound of laughter echoing in my ears. I can't remember their faces, but I know they're still there. Waiting. Watching. I try to forget, but I can't. I'll never be the same. And neither will you, if you ever see that market. If you ever walk the road where it appears.